Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Emily Hayden and I'm a lifestyle YouTuber. I make videos in fitness and in life. In today's life topic, we are going to be doing a heartbreak Q&A. If you don't know, this is a 3-video series. So this is the second video in the series. The first one was on how to get over heartbreak. The second one is a Q&A, and the third one is life after heartbreak. So if any of those interest you, make sure to press subscribe. Pro tip, if you press the little bell, it'll notify you as soon as I post. So let's go ahead and get started with the first question. So I got all of these questions through my Instagram, either on my Instagram story with the question feature or on my actual Instagram photo where I asked for your questions. If you don't follow me on Instagram, my Instagram is @EmilyHayden. Make sure to follow me there so next time I ask for questions, you can get your question in and hopefully I will answer it. So on to the first question. When and how did you know that moving on is the answer versus working through the issues? Something that was imparted to me by my dad was that if you have two willing parties that are both willing and actively working together through issues, you do not give up on that. You do not give up because it's hard. You do not give up just because things aren't ideal. You guys work together until you come through that, and you will come through that. And do not be afraid to ask for outside help, to get counseling. Counseling is one of the best things you can do. However, if you have a situation where one person is actively doing things and the other person maybe says that they're going to do things and never actually follows through with their actions, I will say that actions speak louder than words. So look at what the person is doing, not necessarily what they're saying. If you guys are both doing and saying and actively working towards resolution or working towards the next best version of you guys as a couple, you keep at that. You do not give up. Even when it's hard, you reach out, you get friends, you get counseling, you get support, and you stick it through. If at any point one person stops trying, or if somebody is not following through with their actions, that's when you need to look and say, I really need you to follow through with your actions. And I believe that no one can tell you when it is the right time to step away from that situation. It's something that you've got to feel, and maybe sometimes people stay in things way too long or way longer than they should have, but every person needs a different feeling in them to know that it's the right decision. And I promise when you know, you're going to know. How to deal with knowing you'll be alone for the next chapters/years of your life. I will say, you don't really know anything. You never know what life is going to give you. You never know what's going to happen with changing seasons and transitions. You never know what the next season will bring. So don't be fooled and think that you know it all. Don't be fooled and think that you can predict when you may or may not be with somebody. And I fully understand thinking, I'm not dating anyone for years. That's probably something that's come out of your mouth. I understand being in that position, and I understand being guarded, and I understand that. We'll talk more about that in the life after heartbreak video. But I will say that being alone is really, really cool, but stop giving it a bad or a negative meaning or connotation. Being lonely is a little different, and I understand being lonely when you've been so used to being with somebody, but sometimes it's in those lonely moments that have the biggest impact on our personal growth. So assign a new season to this part of being alone. Say, let me really dig deep. Let me figure out who I am. Let me figure out like why I'm meant to be here. What are things that I can improve on? You know, read books, listen to podcasts, go hang out with friends, do things that you want to do. Put yourself first. I will say that putting yourself first and being able to be in a season of being selfish is really not bad. If you're alone, if you're not with anybody and you're able to do whatever you want all the time and you never have to sacrifice what you want for someone else, it's really not a bad season, because with the way that things go and the way that life is, generally speaking, you may come to another season where now all of a sudden you are sacrificing what you want for the other person, which is beautiful in of itself, but don't skip out on that moment of life when you do get to do things for you. Third question, post-breakup stalking. Some is okay, but the ties need to be cut, right? The best thing that I ever did for myself was when I would go through breakups with somebody, and when I break up, I don't take that lightly. I don't just break up and get back together with somebody. I've never been one to do that. When I break up, it's because I'm sure. I don't do things unless I'm 1000% sure. So when I'm sure, I have no desire, no reason, no purpose to ever go back. And I think that the more that you feed your mind into what used to be, that's prolonging you being able to move on. So especially with like social media stalking, stuff like that, literally block their account, not in a negative or a rude way, but just in a way of you've got to put yourself first and allow yourself time to heal. You will never heal if you keep focusing on what used to be. So allow yourself time to heal. I highly suggest not interacting on social media, not stalking them whatsoever. And I know you have curiosity, but just cut that right out and just say no. Just make it a rule for yourself that you don't do that, because is that really going to help you or is it going to hurt you? Only do things that are going to help you. And honestly, it's not going to help you to see what they're up to or what they're doing. So I highly, highly suggest do not do that. What do you do when you've been cheated on by everyone you've dated? I would look at, where have you been finding these people? Have they all been at the same spot? Have you always been doing the same thing and you're getting in that same cycle of people? Maybe you need to look for a partner, a relationship in a different community, in a different area that you haven't thought about before. Meaning, if you're always finding people just at the bar and it's like you move way too fast with everything, maybe you need to take things slower, and maybe you need to go on a hike or go out for lunch or do something different. Really look at how things have happened and if you can find similarities between those relationships and see if there's something different you can do moving forward. I will say, don't place the blame on yourself, especially if you're the one being cheated on. Don't place the blame within yourself, while at the same time sort of look at yourself and say, where could I be self-aware? Is there anything that I can do moving forward to make sure that I become the next best version of myself, so when I do meet somebody, I'm a new and improved version from the very hurt version that I've been. And if that is you, then I'm really sorry that you're going through that hurt. Maybe it's a time, maybe it's a season that you're not recognizing, but maybe it's a season for you to actually be alone. Maybe you're that person that needs to spend time being alone just for a little bit. And maybe when you come back to being ready to meet someone again, maybe you'll be in a different season of life. How to learn to forgive and move on from someone who hurt and betrayed you. This is really difficult, and I think the number one thing is just to realize that you having resentment and anger and any sort of negative emotion in your heart, it's causing you more pain than it's causing them. And I know something like that is so hurtful, and you deserve a moment and you deserve different seasons to go through with that, different phases of being angry. Like, you have the right to be angry when you're completely betrayed and your trust is betrayed when you never thought that would happen. You have full right to feel that way, but you've got to go through a process of learning to let it go. You've got to address it, and you've got to say, you know what, even if I never speak to this person again, if it's a person that is toxic or that cannot be in your life or that just completely betrayed you on all levels, maybe it's someone you never talk to again, but you've got to do it for yourself. Don't forgive them for them, forgive them for you. Be selfish about it, because carrying that around in your heart is going to keep you blocked from all the love and all the goodness that the world, the universe, God wants to give you. So do not allow yourself to be blocked. Forgive that person so that you can be your best self, so that you can be your happiest and most free self. Free yourself from the bondage of resentment and anger. Do it. Best tips for moving forward when you thought they were the one. And I can absolutely speak to that, because I was 1000% sure with everything in me, and that's why I got married. You don't get married to get a divorce. I thought I was 1000% sure, and I was, and in those moments I was genuine and I was real, and that was my everything. I did not know that it was going to come to an end. I did not know that that would not last forever. And I think that it just reminds me that things of the world, people, animals, things, items, these things are all temporary, and it just really showed me that at any point in time, whether it be by loss or death or breaking up or whatever it is, these things at any point in time can be taken from me. So I can't place everything. I can't place my whole entire love and hope and significance on one person or on one thing or on one animal. I have to love these things, but I have to just loosen my grip just a little bit, knowing that if they are taken away from me, I'm gonna be okay. And I think when I look back, and I think I struggled for a very, very long time trying to understand. I was just like, why? And how could I ever feel like that person was everything, like that person was the one, and then all of a sudden it's not that way anymore? How did that happen? And I never fully understood it, and I still to this day don't fully understand how that can happen. The only thing that I can say is that the one guaranteed thing in life is that things will change, things will evolve into other things, and you hope and you wish and you pray and you try to grow and change and evolve together, but sometimes that doesn't happen. So you just have to know that you're not really gonna understand. I don't feel like I don't know, maybe years down the road I'm gonna know exactly why, but at this point in time I still don't have the answer as to why. So stop asking why and just know that you're gonna be okay, and you have to stay true to yourself. So if in any moment you feel that, go with it. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to go with that feeling. Don't be afraid to say this is everything, because that's truly genuinely how I feel. Because you don't know, maybe you are the person that makes it to 100 years of marriage, and I pray and I hope that you are. But if that doesn't happen for some reason, if some reason life just turns things upside down, know that you're gonna be okay, and know that don't feel guilty for feeling like, oh, maybe I was wrong. You weren't wrong. You were right, and you were genuine, and you were truthful in your actions. And as long as you always stay that way, you never know what life's gonna give you. So don't judge yourself for feeling like you were wrong. You weren't wrong. What do you regret and what has it taught you? I would say the one thing that I regret in previous relationships is maybe not saying exactly how I feel. I think I've always been a person that speaks my mind, but I think if I felt like it would hurt the other person too much, maybe I would keep it from them. So let me know if any of you guys can relate to that. I think there's a lot of people that can relate to that and that can say like, yeah, I speak my mind all the time, but if it's too hurtful, maybe I won't say it. And guys, in your most intimate relationships, in the relationships that mean the most to you, you've got to be strong enough and you've got to be able to say the things that hurt, and you've got to be able to do it with love. As long as you come from a place of love, you come from a place of being genuine and truthful to you and to them, you've got to say it. Don't hold anything back, because the second that you allow resentment to start to build up in your heart, it's so much harder to come back from that. In addition, I think the one thing I would add to that is I guess if there's something that I regret, I know people say like, no regrets, I live my life, but looking back, there are things that I would do differently, and there are things that I've learned, and now I'm gonna take what I have learned and apply it to new relationships, whether that be friendships or romantic. And the one thing that I would say is if I did feel resentment in my heart, I would immediately speak on it and say, hey, I just realized I'm feeling resentful for this reason, and maybe it's something like they don't clean the dishes or whatever it is, some example. If it's even just the tiniest little thing, guys, as soon as the tiniest little thing starts to build up, you address it, you speak on it, and you resolve it immediately. If you can continue to do that, you're gonna have a lot of hard conversations a lot of the time, but you guys are gonna continue to grow together. You're gonna love each other so much more, and you're gonna have such a better relationship than any of your previous relationships. Tips for moving on. 1 week I'm fine, and then 1 week I'm sad again. It's a process. There are gonna be days when you feel like, okay, I'm better, it's finally getting better, I feel so much better, and then the next day you feel like you're back in that slump, you feel like you're down again. Guys, it is really difficult, and the one thing that heals is time. Time will heal all. So time, and then definitely go watch my video on how to handle heartbreak. I offer a lot of tips in there for getting through it, but just know in due time, you won't always break down every day. I understand what that's like. It won't last forever, I promise. Who do you rely on during heartbreak? Someone you can talk to, family or friends. And I think for me, I was, oh my goodness, so incredibly thankful for some of my best friends in the world that happened to be in the same city with me. And wow, they really got me through. And then I'd say my number one person besides that was obviously my dad. You guys know him as Doc. My dad and my parents, my stepmom Shanna, definitely family and friends. I've said in the heartbreak video of how to get over heartbreak or how to deal with heartbreak, I said you need to rely on people. You gotta rely on your family and on your friends, even if it's just one person, even if all you have is one person. And I'd like to add in there someone else who is so near and dear to my heart, which is Vinny, and he's sitting right there. If you guys don't know, Vinny is my 24-pound French bulldog. He gained 2 pounds since last time I weighed him. And I will tell you what, there are so many times that I just grabbed him and hugged him, and whoo, my heart could explode just thinking about it. The amount of love that he offers and gives me is just unreal, and he truly has helped heal me. He truly has helped me in so many ways. I love him so much. I'm gonna cry. Oh, Vinny, I love you. I'm talking about you, but you don't know. How to move on from a toxic relationship. I'd say number one, you're using the word toxic. You're not even using the word bad or unhealthy, which means that it is an extreme level. And I would say first and foremost, cut all ties. Cut all ties, cut all, Instagram and Facebook and social media. Do not have any sort of contact with them whatsoever. Especially if it's a toxic relationship, I would really suggest looking into counseling and therapy. It is just going to help you so much get through what you're going through. It's not just a hard breakup, it's a toxic relationship, and you are gonna need help getting through that. So I strongly suggest reaching out. I'll go ahead and put a link in the description box for like a counseling or a therapy type of service online if you don't know of any. But don't be afraid to reach out. So many people talk to therapists and counselors for all sorts of different reasons, and it can only benefit your life. So I really encourage you to do that. This question is asking months after heartbreak, months after you've left this relationship or been heartbroken or whatever it is, how do you keep yourself from falling in the what if phase, or the what if, or what could have been, or what might have been, and rehearsing in your mind all of the positive things about the relationship, clearly forgetting all of the negative things of the relationship. And I would say that you have to focus on the fact that at one point in time, you felt that there was truth enough to either leave, or you felt that there was truth enough for that other person to leave believe you. They felt there was truth enough. And I think that if two people leave, that it is for a reason. And if you continuously focus on the what if, the what if, the what if, the what if land leads to an anxious cloud and circle and tornado of thoughts that's going to turn you into a negative state. So I would say become self-aware of the second that you start thinking, what if, or what could have been, or maybe I should have just dealt with it, or maybe they'll come back to me after breaking my heart and doing terrible things. And don't even allow yourself to go there. You know that it is not meant for you. And I would say put yourself in one of the most truthful and honest states that you can. So what I mean by that is I feel really amazing after I have a workout session, or I watch a sunset, or I read a devotional, or I pray, or I do things that put me in a just calm sense of I feel centered and I feel like I'm aligned with who I am. Then you write down, you journal to yourself, and you write down the truth that you know to be about the situation. Write the truth of the situation down. That way, in moments of doubt, in moments of fear, in moments of what if, you open that journal and you look at the truth and you reaffirm to yourself that in a moment of doubt and fear, you knew that this was true, and you know that this is true, and hold on to that. This is a really good question. They asked, how did you learn how to attract a different type of person, or maybe just how to create a different dynamic with your next partner? And I will just say it's actually way easier than you think. You be you, and you be fully you, and you and a new or different person will never come close to that other relationship, never even come close to that other person, because the dynamic that that person brings into your life is going to be so different and so new than you would have ever imagined. So don't feel like you have this huge burden that you have on your back of, I've got to make this something different. I've got to make it new. It already is new. It already is different. And it's simply just by being with a new and a different person who hopefully is amazing and positive and incredible and adds so much happiness to your life. Did you ever feel guilty when you went on a new date after a breakup? If so, how did you get past it? And actually, yes, I dealt with that a lot. I dealt with insane guilt for feeling like I tried it once, and because I tried it once, that I'm just not allowed. It's not for me. I'm not able to have this. And this is going to be a question that I go more into on the Life After Heartbreak, the video that I'm going to make. So if you guys have questions about life after heartbreak, for example, feeling guilt, those kinds of things, comment them down below. Otherwise, comment down below and let me know what was your favorite question that I asked, or just simply say, I'm here for this. If you're here for these real life talks, just the friend that's going to give it all out to you. And again, I don't like this to be a one-sided conversation. I'm sitting here talking to you guys, and I know that you're at home watching, or you're watching during cardio, or you're watching or listening during a drive, whatever it is. So I want this to be an interactive thing. Do me a favor, give the video a thumbs up, comment down below something that you got out of the video, and I will see you guys for the next video. Make sure that you're subscribed. Just press the subscribe button. Pro tip, press the bell and you'll get notified next time I post. And I'll see you guys for the third video in this series of Life After Heartbreak. I love you guys so much. Hope you have a great and fabulous day, and I'll see you next time.